Hello and welcome. Today I am going to build some compost heaps. So I've been to the wood merchant and bought the wood that I need. And in my last video I said that I was going to build my compost heaps here in front of the shed. And I asked you guys if there was any reason you could think of as to why I shouldn't. And a few of you said, do not put your compost heaps near any buildings, because if rodents get into those heaps, then they will find a home underneath your shed or whatever outbuilding you've got, and make a home there. So I've decided to not put my compost heaps here. I'm going to put them here instead. I came down yesterday and spent a bit of time putting in these small patio slabs that I found underneath the shed last week, so that when I put the posts on, they'll sit on the patio slabs rather than the ground, because I think they'll keep a little bit better being on the patio slabs than they would be in indirect contact with the soil. So it took me a long time to level everything out, and I'll probably, when I put the compost heaps up, I'll probably have to move the bricks anyway because they'll be in the wrong place. But let's sort that out at another time or later on today. In relation to where things are on the plot, it's kind of near the end of my plot. There's the rhubarb, there's my neighbour's shed, so hopefully these will be far enough away from my neighbour's shed. But I didn't want to put them all the way down here, because then it's more or less the first thing your eye is drawn to when you come in through the gate. So I settled for sort of like a third of the way from the back of the plot. I spent a lot of time clearing away nettles from this patch earlier in the week, and I'll show you that a little bit later, because I really want to get on with getting these heaps in. So let's make a start on building the compost heaps. I bought some posts yesterday at the wood merchant, and he kindly cut them to size, which was 75 centimetres. That was the height I wanted them at. And then these shorter boards, they are 80 centimetres long and 15 centimetres wide. So I need 5 of them to make the height of the compost heap. And then over here I've got 6 lengths at 2.4 metres, but I only need 5 of them. So one of them will come in handy for making sides of a bed. So I'm going to start with the posts on either side. So I've got one post this side, which I'm going to screw the gravel board into the post here. Then I'm going to leave a very small amount of space, maybe 1 centimetre, 1.5 to 2 centimetres in between, just so the compost will get some aeration going into it. And I'll just attach them as we go up. So I've made sure that this side is flush with the side of this post and the bottom of the post, and therefore it should be at a right angle. So this last one here is just going to sit a little bit proud, but I don't mind that. I would rather have that than the compost becoming anaerobic because there's no air going into it. So the lengths of these boards are not entirely the same length because the overall boards are not always the same length. So some of them are exactly to 2.4, and then some of them are slightly shorter from where the plank before them was slightly shorter. So I am going to go with the ones, so I'm going to go with lining up the ones that are the longest to the edge, and then the other ones will sit just slightly in from the post. But in theory, it should still make it 90 degrees. The chap told me that when I bought them, that some of them are not quite the right length. They're only out by sort of like 2 centimetres, but you know, when you're OCD, you want everything to line up nice. But at the end of the day, they are only compost heaps, and as long as they function and break down the compost, then that's all that really matters. I did notice that about the length of the wood when I was making some of my beds, because some of the beds are not at the same right angles because the wood is slightly shorter, so one side sort of pulls in a bit, but they do, you know, they're all right. Again, it's just not as neat as I would have liked, but as long as it does the job. I'll get these last set of screws in the top one, and then we'll move on to building one of the sides. So I'm going to do exactly the same process as I did with the long one, but I'm only going to do one post so that I can attach it to the other post that's already on the long side. So I'll do 2 lots of these, and then hopefully we can get the compost heap to start to stand. I meant to say earlier as well, the other reason I'm leaving that slight air gap there is because when you line up the planks, they don't always line up like flat to each other anyway. So it can look a bit rubbishy when they're sort of like bowing out and pushing the next one away. So by leaving a little bit of distance, you sort of save that. Right, that's one down, another one to make. I might go ahead and make the inside ones as well, and then it'll just be a case of, you know, bump, bump, bump. Hopefully the compost heap will be up before we know it. So with this side, I need to work from the other way up so that the lip is at the right place, if that makes sense. If I did it the same, then we'd end up with 2 left sides and no right sides. So I just thought I'd mention that, because it's one of those things you can forget about, and then you're a bit sort of, oh, you know, oh sugar, I've got 2 left sides, not 1 left and 1 right. Here's all the bits assembled. The long back one, the left hand side, and then these are the 2 middle bits which have got posts either side. And this is what I was saying about earlier, where there was just a slight discrepancy between the length, but hopefully it won't be too noticeable. So I've got all the pieces assembled. Wish me luck. Hopefully this will go together fairly straightforward. So the shell is now done. I need to do the insides. The boards are 80 centimetres long. So I've marked 80 centimetres here. And I reckon this post needs to go in the middle. And then the one in the front will be in the middle. So in theory, I should be able to attach the front posts. I should be able to screw them into just this one post instead of having a post either side. I'm just going to put one screw at the top and one at the bottom. The same with this middle one. Then I'll get a couple of the boards and just check that they will fit where I'm hoping they will fit. So that one will be all right. And that one will be okay. Hello. And that should be fine. Sorry about that. Someone I knew just passed by. Yeah, I think they're fitting fine. Yeah, that should be good. Right, I'll get this side screwed in now. So I'm hoping the way I've designed this will stop the wood from bowing out. Because over time, the weight of the compost will make the wood will push against the wood and make the wood come out a bit. But I'm hoping with it being kept in place in 4 different places, that won't happen. Right, around to do the front now. And similarly to me talking about it bowing out, when I originally planned these compost heaps, I was going to have like this post set back a bit further and then a small bit of timber in the front to create a slot, so these could just slot in like that, and then it would be easier to get them in and out. But when I thought about like the structure of the heap, I thought it'd be better to screw these into place, because then they are helping to support the 2 posts, because like I said, the compost will push it out over time. So I thought, well, if this is here, it will, you know, it will aid in the support of everything. It will keep everything square essentially. So that's why I've decided to screw the front in rather than have an easy sort of door you could open or hinge or something you could slide up. I think this will be better for me, and I don't tend to turn my heaps very often, in all honesty. I do mean to, but I just never get around to doing it. So that's the only time really I think I will need to take the fronts off. And the reason I put the fronts this way rather than that way is because I thought this rhubarb patch was quite flexible. So if I need to bring the wheelbarrow in to turn the heap, or I need to bring the wheelbarrow in to unload some of the compost, then this rhubarb, I can just take out of the way. Whereas I thought the other side, if I'd fixed the bed in position, it might be a bit hard for me to find like the turning circle and everything. So that's why I've opted for this way. Almost there. And here they are, all finished now. decent size inside. I just raked all the compost that was in there just to make it smoother, and I also backfilled the outside bits so they didn't look so obviously like new in there. And then around the side and the back, yes, I'm very pleased to have got that job done. That's a big job done. So I wasn't expected to get to doing the compost heaps yet, but I'm glad I have, because I can start filling them up now, and I'm making some compost for next year. Let me show you the other jobs I got done earlier on in the week. I have another bootload of compost from the garden here. So this is becoming a regular, weekly job. So I'm just gonna top dress this bed here with that compost. I've just put down some fish blood and bone and some chicken manure pellets. Then I'll pop that compost on top. And I've treated myself to this flexi hose, it's called. I got it from, where did I get it from? The Range, I think, the other day. So it expands up to 30 metres. And I thought it would be quite good around the allotment, because if it's flexible, I thought it might not damage some plants. You know, sometimes when they come around the corners, they can like snag on the plants here. So I thought maybe if it was flexible, it might not do that. I'm now going to water the bed I've just shown you, and then I'll pop the compost on top. After raking out the compost and giving that water a thorough soak, this bed is now good to go. Next job on my list today is to strim everywhere, because where I'm not walking has got really, really long. Where I'm walking, the main paths are not so bad, but the bits that I don't walk on, they've gotten large. So let's get on and do some strimming. So I think my next job is to tackle a few more weeds. There's this lovely clump of nettles here. Well, there's quite a few nettles along there. So I reckon I'll make a start on these front couple of nettles. Annoyingly, I'm going to have to stop there because I need to go and get my children from school. So hopefully I'll come back later and finish this patch at least. But there's a lot to do. I have, however, got some nice rhubarb to take with me. So that's good, isn't it? Well, I've made it back and I'm going to crack on with these nettles, and I'll just keep going and I'll bring you back when I'm done. Well, I have cleared most of this area. I've taken the tops off the nettles in this corner, but I'm stopping now because it is going to be late, and also I'm really tired and I won't do a very good job if I carry on going now. So it's time for a break. I'm happy to have got that done. I would have liked to have finished the job because I hate not finishing the job and having to come back another day. But it's probably best for me to stop now. It's been about 3 hours, so yeah, I've got more done than I thought I would, so that's good. I've also got some more rhubarb to go home because where this lot was over on top of the nettles, I had to pull them out so that I could get the roots out there. So I've got this lovely little pile here on the go, so I think I better try and thin it out and put some of it in the boot and do another dump run. It needs to go. It's making the place look untidy. So here it is, another bootful ready to go. I've got a couple of bits in the front of my car, but I can't fill up the back seat because I'll be taking my children swimming when I go to the dump. You know, I'll go to the dump and then take them swimming, so they'll be in the car, so I can't fill them up. So I'll show you what we're left with. So it's really just the pallet now that needs to go. I'll hang on to these pieces of wood that I took from the old fence, and I'll also hang on to the wire netting in case I need to use it on some of the beds. So I haven't quite cleared that spot, but it's looking a lot better than it was. So that's what I've been getting up to on the plot this week. Let's go home and I can show you what I've been doing at home in the garden. A very auspicious day today. We are going to make the first strawberry harvest of this year. So there's a fair few red strawberries in and amongst this lot. Some of them are not quite like red yet, but they will ripen, and if I leave them they'll just get munched, because there have been a couple of them that have been munched so far. So I'm grabbing them while I can. Like this one, something's had a nibble at this one, so that's no good. And this one, something's totally nibbled that one. So there we are. Not like the huge harvest, but still welcome nonetheless. I look forward to trying a few of these with my daughter. I'm in my greenhouse now, and one of the jobs I need to do is to stake up these tomatoes that are in the Autopot systems. So you remember I bought these from the garden centre and planted them up about 3 weeks ago, and as you can see they have just shot on. So I need to stake them now, and I also need to take out some of the side shoots. So I better stake first and then side shoot. Right, just tying it in now. And then we'll just take all the side shoots off, and then it looks so much neater. I'm also going to take a few of the bottom leaves off because the first truss is there now. So we'll leave it like that. And we'll do the same again with the one next door. here they are, looking a lot better now, a lot more streamlined. There's a couple of tomatoes coming on them now. There's that one. This one is just beginning to put tomatoes on around the back. So each one, the first truss, is beginning, apart from this one. Which one is this? This is Big Boy. So I suppose there won't be that many flowers on that one, because it'll be growing big fruit, won't it? Right, let me show you the last job I've got to do. Next to the tomatoes, I've got my 4 other Autopot systems set up. So I've connected all the valves up and everything, and I've put a T bar on there, a connector, and when I'm ready I'll just cut that one and connect it into there. So it'll be coming from this reservoir like those ones are. And around here I've got my pots all ready to go. They've been filled with fresh compost, perlite and fish blood and bone. And I'm going to pop in 2 cucumber plants. They're both telegraph, and 2 aubergine plants, which are, I think, mostly black beauty. So I fibbed. I've got 1 listada de grande and 1 black beauty. So roots are not too bad. Could be better, but not too bad. Just going to pop them all into the pots, and hopefully they'll get away like those other tomato ones did. I've never had much luck with aubergines in the past, so I'm hoping growing them in the Autopot system is going to be really good. And again, with cucumbers, I don't have much luck with indoor cucumbers either. I've not done too bad with outdoor ones, but never had much luck with indoor ones. So hopefully this will be the year. Right, I'll give them a water in and pop the stakes in earlier this time, unlike the tomatoes. They'll have something to grow up. So I'm just watering them from the top now, and I'll do this for the first week. So depending on how hot it is in the greenhouse, I might water these about 2 or 3 times from the top. But I'm not putting them in the reservoirs yet. I'll put them in the reservoirs once they've been watered for about a week, so that the compost is moist and will connect with the water in the reservoirs, and hopefully we'll get going like the tomatoes did. So fingers crossed for that. I've been Bethan. This has been a lovely job, and take care everybody.